So this is being done at 11:47 at night because I may have forgotten, but on the bright side, I guess that means I'm going to be incredibly quiet. I noticed something interesting. The icon for this website changed between now and yesterday at some point. Very fun. I did say I was going to talk about flags today, and honestly, I don't really know what else to say. I think maybe I'll just talk about some of the worst flags. There's a very infamous flag, the flag of Provo, because it was made in Microsoft Word, it looks like. And it's literally just a rainbow bar with the word Provo done in word art, and it is quite awful to look at. There's a certain trend of using a logo as a flag, and that's just disgusting to me. There are some cases where it kind of works, but 99% of the times it doesn't work, and in the 1% of the time it does work, it just barely skirts the line and is mildly acceptable to look at. And that's only because the logo they've used is so simplistic and so unoffending that it's not even worth it to be mad about it. And of course, I believe I mentioned this before, but around half of the state flags of the US look absolutely terrible, including the flag of Michigan, which I find great shame in. Very good news in vexology, though. The state of Mississippi has voted to change their flag. In terrible news, the Senate of Mississippi added a stipulation that the words "In God We Trust" must be written across it. And as we all know, words on flags just don't look good. That's a very long stretch of me not talking, so I'm just talking without saying anything just to fill in the void now. I had a point that I was going to make, but I lost it. Oh, yes, I remember now. A lot of news outlets are saying, like, oh, this is the last remnant of the Confederacy and flags to be, like, wiped out, which is very cool, except incredibly wrong. Georgia, for example, still has a flag that is very reminiscent of the original Confederate national flag. And by very reminiscent, I mean the exact same, but with the state of Georgia seal slapped in the canton. And something that I think many people don't know is the so-called Confederate flag is actually a battle flag of a Virginia company, I believe. The actual national flags of the Confederacy are pretty remarkably different. The first one is a tricolor, a horizontal tricolor, and it's got a blue canton with 13 stars, I believe. It's actually quite pleasing to look at, the stars and bars as they are called, or it is called. The second one is a absolute catastrophe of a national flag. It is a white flag, a pure white flag, but in the canton they have the battle flag, and it got confused with flags of treaty, which is commonly known as like the Confederate flag, or not the sorry, not the Confederate flag. It got confused with like the surrender flags, and so they changed it to the Bloodstained Banner, which is a grand name for a terrible looking flag. It's the same thing as the last one, but it's got the final third of the flag farthest away from the pole is just a bar of red. Also, something that you may have noted is my knowledge of flags is honestly very limited. I only know the terms, the canton for one, which is just like the little square in the top left, because there's a whole different language for flags. There's like the fly and the fesses and the other things, and I don't know what any of this means. I just say it as I see it, which is the line is on the furthest away part of the flag, and it's red, and that communicates the idea pretty clearly, and that's really all that you need, because there's really no point, in my opinion, of creating a new word when existing words can already communicate the idea efficiently. And I'm going to take a yawn break because I think I've yawned in like all of these. And I know I mentioned I shouldn't do this when I'm tired, but now it's close to midnight. Yeah, flags. Flags. What is there to say about flags? I could just go through some random flag facts. The flag of Poland and Monaco and Indonesia are nearly indistinguishable from each other. The star on the Californian flag is representative of Texas, actually, which is very strange to think about because those two states are now as polar opposite as can be. But they both were part of the same rebellion against the Mexican nation, and because of that, and to show solidarity, the flag that was hoisted had a star to represent the Lone Star State. That's just a neat little fact. I feel like the flag of California overall is a very good indication of a flag that breaks the rules conventionally, or I don't think that makes sense. It breaks the rules, but it still manages to look good. You know, I feel like just the California Republic with the bear and the grass is just an aesthetically pleasing flag. It has certainly been adopted by many college kids as just a trendy look, from what I can tell. I wouldn't know. I'm not exactly a expert in the social world, but it's one of those things where the guidelines of vexillology or vexillology is just guidelines, and because you can make some very nice flags without following those rules. And California shouldn't work. The California flag shouldn't work, but it does, and that is just something that people that study flags just have to work with. Because flags, I don't know why I just got very loud. I'm sorry for whatever noise I just made. But flags are just, I feel like they're very much based on a feeling that you can just look at something and say, yeah, that looks good, right? And again, I'm not an expert, so maybe someone that actually knows what the hell they're talking about is clawing out their eyes, listening to what I have to say. But I think overall, just making a good looking flag isn't a terribly difficult art. It isn't something that you have to master. Obviously, having artistic background is going to help you, because you will know okay, this color looks good with this color, or to not pair certain colors because they will clash, or if you have to use those colors, to make sure there is a dividing color between them. But that's pretty much just knowledge that you can have intuitively, because you'll look at something and say, that just doesn't look right. Let me see how I can tweak it to make it look right. And that's really it. So that's really all I had to say about that topic. I'm just kind of rambling about anything I can talk about. I will say something, though, that might be kind of controversial. The lesbian pride flag is awful. I hate it, as well as the bear pride flag I've seen. I despise those two flags, because while they clearly communicate what it's supposed to be for, if you know what it is, the amount of similar colors just blends together, in my opinion, and it can be simplified, and it can be drastically simplified and made to be a lot cleaner, a lot more modern in a way. And I feel like I understand. I'm maybe right. I I'm a straight guy that didn't really look into this before I started rambling, but I think the horizontal lines are supposed to be a callback to the rainbow flag, possibly. But even then, I don't know, they don't look like good flags to me, right? And that's really it, because it's just a bunch of one color in different tones, slightly brighter, slightly darker, all in thin lines, and in my very humble opinion, it looks awful. But pride flags overall are honestly very nice to look at. They have very, very nice colors, I will say. Some of them I think could be due for an overhaul. I think there's one I have in mind, but I honestly can't remember which one it's associated with. But it's blue on top, red on bottom, and a wide purple stripe in the middle. It works, and you understand what it's supposed to represent, which I would if I wasn't that exhausted and I could think of the term for this fucking. Never mind. Okay, but I think it should be redone, and I just don't know how, right? Because I've given it a shot before, communicating the same idea as effectively, but I think it runs into the problem of this is so obvious what it's supposed to be that changing it would make it less obvious. And the flag is designed to be a one glance symbol of this is what this represents. So it does it well enough that it doesn't warrant a change, but just something about it makes me just be like, it's not complete. It needs just an extra something. So that's just my opinion on the flag of a community of people that exist that I can't think of the name of, and I am terribly sorry about that for being such a dumbass. What else to talk about? Because I'm trying to take this 20 minutes. But yes, this is done for whoever asked for another talk about flags. And if anybody else has any ideas for me to do, just feel free to drop them in the comment, because I don't have like a wide I can be. I read every one of your comments, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell, because don't worry, my silver play button is coming in the mail soon, I swear. Unboxing video when that happens. But I will say there are some flags that I just feel are a little too modern, because there are a lot of flags coming out and they're very curvy in a way. They have a lot of like twists and bends and a lot of swirlies and curly cues, and like they make sense, but they don't look like flags so much as they look like a logo, right? And that kind of goes back to like my idea about logos not really being a good substitute for a flag, because flags have a very distinctive look. Flags are very old art, and in my opinion, it should retain that like old quality. There are a lot of modern flags that, and this isn't to say that like doing a modern style is wrong, because I have seen a lot of flags. I just got randomly loud there again. I'm very sorry, but there are like a lot of modern flags that they do look good, but I think overall it's a very fine art and this is contrasting exactly what I said about intuition, but being able to make something modern while still harking back to what made those old flags just feel like old is interesting. I don't really know how to describe the feeling I get, but you see something and you're just like, that looks too 2000s to feel like a flag to me. It relies too much on like modern design trends, because a flag should be timeless, right? Like the United States flag is obviously tied to time, because as history has progressed, we have gone from 13 to 50 stars, but even then, the basic design itself is a very timeless thing. It's very simple. Like anyone from any era could have thought of it, and it could have been done with any like technology available to anyone, really, if that makes sense. Because you see some flags and you're like, yeah, that was made in the modern age, and you can tell because it uses like modern techniques, and it's very ornate in a simple way, if that makes sense. Because you have to think like the fabric workers didn't have, tablets, so they didn't have the luxury to make experiments. So they had to stick to what they knew would work, that is. And you'll see, because I saw a flag of Louisiana, it may have been a redesign of the flag of Louisiana, and it had a fleur de lis, and all the people that speak French just wanted to die, because I do not speak French, and I am incredibly sorry for all the people whose ears are now bleeding. A fleur de lis. Fleur de lis. I'm very tired. Fleur de lis. But anyways, it was a French flag, basically, the French colors. The fleur de lis took up the entire middle. So from top to bottom, it touched. And on the left of that was blue, on the right of that was red, and it felt very much like a sports thing, like the NBA logo. And it just made me pause because, objectively speaking, it was a very very beautiful flag and one that I could see waving, but it just felt too like today to be a flag. And this could just be me. This could just be my personal opinion, and I think it is because I've seen a lot of modern takes on flags, but um, I just think it has to have a certain rustic charm to it to look good. I don't know. I might be just rambling about nonsense. Um, I was going to make. Oh, I remember what my other one was. My other thing is, I fear there is a trend that we get too modern, that we loop back to too simple. Because, like, I've seen some flag designs that's literally just like like a primary color background, or not primary, just a solid color background with a symbol in the middle of it, just a simple symbol. And one, it looks very logo, right? And two, it's kind of just a more streamlined version of seal on a bed sheet that the US flag suffer from. So, yeah, because I mean, Japan does that, but I and again, all of these rules I'm outlining, you will find a flag that breaks it, and breaks it in a way so spectacularly well and so beautifully. I look like a dumbass. But the takeaway is really that flags just, you just know when you look at it, right? It's just, that's a flag. That's a good flag. I like that flag. I would salute that flag. And that's really just the feeling that you want to aim for. It does, like, and it's an incredible balancing act trying to get there, but at the same time it's not a balancing act because you just know, you feel it in your soul. It's 12:10 in the morning, so disregard everything I said. I just kind of felt bad about not doing one today, even though I'm not really doing these for anybody but myself. Well, I am doing this one for someone. Okay, yeah, obviously I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So, I hope you have. Oh, that was very loud. Okay. But yes, I hope whoever has listened through has had a great day and continues to have a great day or night, or whatever time period it is. But thank you for listening to this just mindless ramble, and see you later.